Heartbeat's tagline is monetize your audience. That's what they lead with. They don't lead with help your students learn or build something that works. It's monetize your audience. And I want you to hold on to that as we go through these tests, because Heartbeat built the most learning-centric course platform of all the community platforms I've looked at. And they still lead with the revenue pitch. I'm Dr. Katrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. So, same lesson. I have pathways, I have activities, I have content. Same 3 tests. Let's see how they did. Okay, so the first thing that I want to point out about Heartbeat is how ridiculously simple and easy the layout is. You are dropped right into this space once you create a community, and you have your feed, courses, docs, events, directory, matchups, and then a bunch of like discussion areas that you can create. I have already created some here, so there's generally less. And it's not that it doesn't have the bells and whistles, it's just that they are in the background, right? Like you don't need to be able to see all of these things every time you jump into the community. So I really like that kind of user experience, both as a designer and as someone that is in some communities in Heartbeat. So in terms of getting started with courses, also really simple. You click on courses and you can see the course that I've created, and then you can also very easily create courses. So I'm going to click create just so we can see the options. There's evergreen and then there's cohort based. You can, from the same page, select the type that you want. So is it a one-time? Is it a bundle? Is it free? You pick the instructors, whether or not you want to require lessons are complete. So what that means is it will set up you should complete lesson 1 before you move on. I am not going to do that because, as you know, my lesson requires pathways, and that tends to mean you're not going to complete all of the lessons, and that's okay. You can also add things to embed in the communities, and these are things that you can embed in the community itself, and then you can also attach to each lesson. So instead of creating that, I'm just going to jump straight into what I've already made, and this is it. This is Course Maker. So in order to start adding things, really you just, there's one that kind of already has pieces and parts in it, but you would click add content and then add a module. It's very easy to put the module title at the end and then click create. And then you have, in terms of options, you have lessons, assignments, and events. You can also import some things. I haven't played around with that. We're just going to stick to the lessons and assignments. And then events are they are automatically added to the calendars of everyone that's in the course or has access to the course, which is nice. But we're going to stick with the lessons and assignments. Okay, so the first question in our testing is whether or not you can track something other than clicking the I did it button or watching video. And I really, really wanted Heartbeat to pass on this one, just because the way that you show submissions and the feedback threads, like that is really well done, especially compared to everybody else. But it breaks down a little bit in answering the question. So we are going to jump right in. So I have already created an assignment. So I'm going to jump in and show you what that looks like. So when you are creating an assignment, you get to pick the title. The setup is super easy in terms of whether or not you want to draft it, drip it, schedule it, whether or not you have a hero section. I personally don't like having the things at the top. I think it feels cluttered, but you could have that if you wanted. The type of assignment, so it can be something you turn into a discussion. It could be something that they do on a different website, or it can be private. I made this private, and then all of my instructions are in here, and then this lets them know that it's private, and then if there's anything for them to download and complete and then submit, this is where you would put it. Then on the right hand side, there's also requiring completion. Again, I'm not clicking this, but because of the way that mine has to be, but you could require completion before you move on to the next assignment. And then if it does, you can require instructor approval. So I'm going to save these changes. Actually, let's turn that off. Okay, so I have a second assignment in here that I haven't really done anything in. So I am going to go ahead and show how you can put require completion, that this is private, and you put the instructions in here. So I'm going to go ahead and save changes so we can see what that looks like on the learner side of things. Okay, so this is my learner view as Katrina student. If I click into Course Maker, we can see that the pick your path is in here. And then let's just skip ahead to the path 1. You've got experience. Okay, so we're just going to go straight into the course. Click on Course Maker. Okay, so these are all of the lessons. So I had created cards over here, and so it's really easy to go in and ask my questions. I get popped down to that discussion thread. So we're going to go take a look at Share Your Brain. This is where I have already submitted things. I've submitted a couple things. So it's waiting for approval before I proceed, but I can see in here that I can edit it even after I've submitted it. I can also see past submissions, which I love this feature. That means that as a learner, I can track what I've done and what's been sent back to me in order to know where I've been and where I'm going. And so that past submissions is a really great option. I can clearly attach, I can put text, I can attach files, I can add links, I can update things. So I have done all that in here already, and I'm going to show you what that looks like on the instructor side. I'm going to go back into that other Share Your Brain assignment. And so those were my instructions. I'm going to attach a file. Okay, so I have attached something. I'm going to go ahead and click submit the assignment. Submitted, it's awaiting for approval. So I can't actually mark that as complete. And so we're going to go look and see on the instructor side how we are tracking completion and what we have to do. Okay, so in order to see user progress, all I have to do is click on view user progress. Katrina as student, last lesson, last completion, nothing. It says I have done nothing. And clearly, not only have I done things, I have submitted them. There is some back and forth even that I'm going to show you, and that's not showing up at all. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and show you the back and forth and what the assignments kind of look like on the instructor end. It's super easy to get to them. In a lot of these other platforms, I've had to dig, but this dashboard up here, view submissions, makes it very easy. So we can see that I have submitted something previously. I can view the image that I put in there. This was the first one. Oh yeah, that's a bit.ly. That will take you to a music scholarship page if you're interested in that. And then I can download things. This is an audio that I can download, and then I can view submission or I can do a quick approval. So this is where I can do feedback. So this is the second attempt. I'm getting to see that second attempt. I can also still see that first attempt. So if I am looking for improvement or changes, I can actually see them as the instructor, which is amazing. So I'm going to give some feedback that this is perfect, and I'm going to approve it this time, and then I'm going to close it, and we are going to see if that changes our analytics at all. It doesn't change the analytics. If I look at user progress, it still says none. So I'm back in the course as the student, and I'm going to go back to Share Your Brain. So I got the feedback from the instructor. It says perfect. I still have to go back and click that mark as complete button in order for the progress to actually show up for the instructor. There's no way to see kind of that back and forth happening in the progress bar. So I am going to go back and just refresh and check. Yep, so 100% of the course has been started. They've averaged 14% progress. I can actually look at the individual progress. So we see the last lesson that they did, the last completion date, and the total progress. So this is why I really wanted to pass this, because the way the assignment is structured and the ability to see the past submissions and the ability to kind of go back and forth in comments, right? That's all good learning design. However, question 1 is, are we tracking something other than clicking complete? And the answer is no. Unfortunately, we're not. And so it does fail this, but out of all of them, this one has the most organic teaching component to the assignments. So nice work on that, Heartbeat. Okay, so our next question is are there learning pathways? Can we build in the learning branches? And the answer to that is no. Unfortunately, we cannot. So it does fail question 2. There's no learning pathways built into the platform itself. However, like quite a few of these, there is an easy creative workaround to that. So this is my Jumpstart Brainstorm. I have a pick your path that links out to 3 possible paths that you can take. Not everybody has to take all 3 paths. And so in path 1, that's the first option. If I click here, I can grab a permalink, and that has been the solution on all of them. So I can grab the permalink and put it in pick your path, which I've already done here. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. I'm going to show you what this looks like on the student side. So I'm going to click on pick your path. This is, theory. I have a video in here also that says what I'm doing. And so if I click on pick your path, it takes me to you've got experience. And this is the explanation of the activity. I've read that. I'm going to go on to the next. And so I have the assignment next, and then I can click next lesson, and I don't need this next lesson. So really what I would do as a learner is go back out and then find the next module. So it is a creative workaround, and yes, it is clunky, but it's there. I did get kind of excited when I saw this workflow option when someone completes this lesson. I thought I was going to get another creative way to build in a branch, but all of the actions are notifications or emails or pop-ups. There's no go to lesson X, Y, or Z. And so that won't work. Okay, so the third question is about friction. How much friction is there between consuming the content, right? And so this would be consuming the content. I've got a video to go here as well. So between consuming the content and doing the thing, right? Taking the action. So if the action is a discussion, it's actually not too bad. So you can click on discussions and it will take you in here and you can start typing. But the assignments do actually live in a different place. And so I would have to click share your brain in order to complete the assignment. But I don't have to leave the platform in order to do this. So I'm going to give them a conditional pass on question 3, just because everything can legitimately still live in the platform if you want it to. There are also options, right? So like in the submitted assignment space, I can upload an MP3. I can take a voice note and then attach it to the assignment space. And then the back and forth feedback also still happens in the platform. So overall, there's just less friction here. I can get to my instructor from the same lesson page, so I can click and I can chat with them. And so even though it's not perfect, like ideally that assignment would be embedded in the lesson too, I am going to give it a conditional pass. The reason why it doesn't get a full pass is actually that mark submit, that mark complete button. So in here, clicking submit should give some kind of indication that progress has been made, right? I shouldn't have to click complete, mark complete, in order for that to show up. So the question you need to ask yourself is whether you're looking for a community-first platform that actually has a decent course experience integrated with it as opposed to tacked on. Or are you trying to lead with the learning experience first and the community piece integrated with the learning experience? Those are 2 different types of course strategies. If it's the first one, and you're building community first, and you want the learning experience to feel more cohesive, then Heartbeat is a pretty good option. It's the strongest one that I've reviewed in this series. If you're looking for a platform that's actually going to let you know when learning happened and how, then we still don't have anything yet. So Heartbeat has assignments, it has feedback loops, it has community integration that actually makes sense and that can be attached to each lesson. The user interface is intuitive and simple, but still has enough features. But monetize your audience is still the tagline, because at the end of the day, that is still what the goal is. It's still what it's built for. So while they have some of the better learning experience tools, it's not really designed for individualized learning experiences, which is fine. You just need to know what you're getting yourself into. If you're not sure if you're ready to pick a platform, I have a quiz for that, and it's in the description. Our next platform is MemberVault. Same lesson, same 3 tests. If it's not there, it'll be there next week.